What is up? This is Dak with Dak's Fan Zone and End Zone. Welcome to another fun episode. Thank you for being back. If this is not your first time, and if this is, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Today's episode is called Quarterback Situationships. Yes, I know. So it's going to be a fun one. It's going to be geared towards the quarterback like the NFL is. So, first orders of business. Today's topics I got quarterback situationships. I'm going to run through some of the tiers. I have some fun categories that I put them into. Free agents and trade dominoes. We're going to talk a little bit about that specific topic when I go through the quarterback tiers. It'll be all related, and then I'm going to be talking about some young guns, some young NFL draft prospects, and then I do have a hot take for y'all today. I really do. So it's going to be a fun episode, but without further ado, let's get into the topic of discussion. Number one. Yes, I got my tier one. This is called the elite or franchise QB situations throughout the NFL. And I just want to let you guys know that if you, as we know, as fans in the NFL, everything's geared toward the quarterback. It's the most important position in sports, right? No quarterback, you don't really have a real shot. The minute the season starts, you're already behind, right? So the quarterback position is the most important position. As you can tell, league hires around the NFL when it comes to the offensive coordinators. A lot of these coordinators that have been hired are coaches who are like quarterback whisperers. You look at Mike McDaniel. You look at Joe. You look at Joe Brady for Josh Allen there in that situation. So just all the way across the board. Even you look at Davis Webb, who was a hot commodity throughout the NFL and NFL circles for head coaching interviews, offensive coordinator interviews. It is important. So, tier one, as I said, is going to be the franchise quarterback situations, and these aren't in order by any means. I didn't rank any of these. These are just all the teams listed out. As to who, like, there's no internal debate with this category, no contingency chatter. Everything's fully committed to these quarterbacks, such as the contracts, the schemes, timelines, everything pertaining to the quarterback. This is that list, okay? So I just want you all to take a look. Now, I did leave off a name here or two. There could be a case made for maybe some other names added to this list. And I'm all open for your guys' feedback when it comes to this tier one elite franchise quarterback situations. But Patrick Mahomes, Super Bowl contender. Anytime you have him, you're always going to have an opportunity. Josh Allen, even though he's been in the postseason, I think every season since he's been in the NFL, basically. MVP candidate. He had another phenomenal season despite coming up short. And then Lamar Jackson, he's a special talent, athletic, elite, MVP, three-time MVP, quarterback. He's a good one. Did I say three-time? I'm sorry about that. That was wrong. So Joe Burrow, I think if you look at him, he's probably closest to Peyton Manning when it comes to like accuracy. Really good at standing in the pocket and getting off his throws, making them in tight windows. He's just great with his ball placement. Justin Herbert. Now we know he's a phenomenal talent, bigger quarterback. He's been with the Chargers a while. He's been to the playoffs, but he just can't get over the hump. Now this is where Mike McDaniel will come into place with an explosive game plan scheme to help out Justin Herbert, get the most out of him. Jalen Hurts, you know what he is. You see the commitment there when it comes to him as a quarterback. He's been to the Super Bowl. And he's got one. He's got a ring already. He all he does is win. You know, he's been into the postseason quite frequently. And then I look at the San Francisco 49ers, Brock Purdy. He did really well this year. He's a top 10 quarterback for me, honestly, Brock Purdy. Phenomenal season despite dealing with some injuries there, right? So it'll be interesting, but they're solidified there. Mr. Irrelevant is relevant. Dak Prescott, man, this guy has a good high football IQ, gets the ball out of his hands quickly, explosive offense. He was having a offensive player of the year type of performance to start the season there, but kind of fizzled out towards the end. Still a good quarterback. They got their quarterback situation squared away, and then you got the Detroit Lions and Jared Goff, which is crazy because he was kind of like a throw-in. I feel like to like match salaries or whatever for Matthew Stafford, but no, Jared Goff's been phenomenal. His rookie year was atrocious, right? But I had to do with coaching. But he's in a good spot. Um, so it'll be interesting to see what they do there moving forward. If they could get back to being, contenders. They had a down year as a team overall, but definitely love their quarterback situation. Now the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield was from the Browns to the Panthers to the Rams. Found a spot in Tampa, made the most of it. He's really grown. A perfect example of why you don't um give up on a quarterback so soon, right? I think a lot of us as fans, media members, even organizations are just so quick to punt on a quarterback when things don't start or progress like we expect from the jump. So I'm excited about this one. Now let's head to number two, tier two. So tier two is going to be my young franchise bets, ascending situations. And this one is kind of like the belief is real. You feel like you have a guy or you found somebody that you feel like is working and it's just going to ascend, right? These teams think they have an answer. They need to have some kind of confirmation next, when it comes to this position. This is about optimism within the organizations. There's some players on here that we can make a case that should be maybe in the other one, right? Like honestly, but it's all about stringing along multiple seasons, and having that confidence. So right off the jump, Bryce Young was one that I really like on this list. Really started off shaky, right? But he's really turned it around. I think after being benched and getting back to starting gig, shout out to him. I mean, he just needs stability and functional support when it comes to him as a quarterback. Caleb Williams, a lot of folks were writing him off as a bust. Generational talent. He's meeting the expectations right now. Ben Johnson did a phenomenal job of helping him turn things around. I think consistency would be the separator for him. Uh, and I think, man, he did pretty good against the Rams in that last game. If he can stop with the turnovers. But that's every young quarterback, right? That's for any quarterback, cutting down turnovers or whatever. For the most part, he's pretty. He'll get better in that aspect of his game. And you got Jaden Daniels, man, electric player. I would say he has some issues with staying healthy, but I think he'll be okay. Very electric, dual threat, man. I like him. He took the Commanders in his first year as a rookie to the NFC Championship, so I like that one where they're at. Now, the New England Patriots is another one. They got Drake May. They're pretty happy with their situation. From worst to first, they put the right tools. This is a good example when you do that. Put the right guys around your quarterback. You invest around your quarterback. You find success, and now they're heading to the Super Bowl. So I like that move. The Green Bay Packers. I think has probably one of the highest quarterback contracts to recent date. Super talented, strong arm. I just feel like he needs to prove sustainability. and playoff control. I know in big moments he makes some he forces turnovers, kind of doubts himself. I was hoping. I mean, I saw him against Chicago, and that's just a big point. Is like you see him going against, well, him and Caleb Williams in that game, right? And it just wasn't enough. Um, I feel like he just needs to learn to get over the hump. So I like Green Bay Packers, Jordan Love there. They've really done good things. Him and LaFleur together. Houston Texans, C.J. Stroud. He's he has a good resume. He goes to the playoffs. He's been to the playoffs every year since he's been in the NFL. He really started off hot. He's had some down seasons, but I think some of that could be um, situational. What around him, right? Like that offensive line is atrocious, man. They really need to get him some stability on the offensive line to help protect him. And I think he'll come back around to the talent that we know he can be in this NFL league. Um, Still talented though. I still have. He has a high football IQ, so I like that. Let's go with the Tennessee Titans. Cam Ward. He has that arm talent, creativity. And I think with Cam Ward, the thing is he got a good offensive-minded coach now to pair with him. There in Tennessee, and Brian Daboll, who you saw was a vital. I'd say he played a vital role in Josh Allen's development. So, he's a quarterback whisperer there in Tennessee. Pairing up with Cam Ward, why not? I'm all for it. Now we go to Jacksonville, and this is a great story. I really like Trevor Lawrence. I was super high on Trevor Lawrence when he came to the NFL. The talent is real. He's like a dual threat as well. Can use his legs, very mobile. I would like to see him in bigger moments, come through. But he had a good season. He has a coach that believes in him. That's probably been the best coach to this point in his career. So, and Liam Cohen, perfect pairing there. They're gonna do phenomenal things, I believe. So I'm excited. If I'm a Jaguars fan, I really am excited about the season I just had. So shout out to them for sure. And then we got who else we got? Did I run through everybody on this list? I'm pretty sure I did. Pretty sure I did. Oh, we got Sam Darnold. This is an ascending quarterback situation. A lot of people throughout the NFL were doubting this man when he signed in Seattle, and I thought a lot of even like media members, like national media members, weren't too fond of the idea of him going to Seattle. But Sam Darnold's going to the Super Bowl. People can say what they want, right? I mean, this is the thing when it comes to talent across the NFL. Everyone's gonna have different evaluations on quarterbacks, different positions across the league, right? It doesn't matter if you're the brightest mind in the NFL. We're all going to have different opinions on players. But shout out to Sam Darnold, though. He's really stepped up. He took the next step in showing that he can win in big games. He's won back-to-back 14-win seasons. He's had 14-win seasons back-to-back. Shout out to him, man. I mean, that hasn't been done since Tom Brady, I think. So, yeah, that's quite a name to be involved with, right? To be mentioned with. So, yep. And then let's go to my tier 3. The tier 3 is going to be dicey. We're going to have a lot of fun with tier 3. Here we go. Tier 3. Chaos and Bridges. Hold up. Before you guys show up with pitchforks out my door for maybe some of these teams that are on here, I'm going to go through it with y'all, okay? And I know I just put it on the screen for you. The one team, you see the Los Angeles Rams there. Hold on, like I said. Let me explain. I got some explaining to do. I know. I do. But hear me out. The Los Angeles Rams are on here, not so much because it's a chaotic, quarterback situation. And it's not so much really a bridge, right? But it was like I wanted to do 3 tiers. But part of some of these teams being on this list is the question marks that they raise, right? So if I'm being honest with you fans, like I feel like the Rams have a question mark in Matthew Stafford, and it's not to question the talent that he is. Um, it's to really question as to what their succession plan is after Matthew Stafford. Now I know they've probably tried to maybe address that through the draft in the past couple seasons. I think, if I'm being honest, I heard his name mentioned. Well, I heard the Rams being mentioned in trying to get quarterbacks through the draft in 2024, and then last year's draft. So they've been looking, I'm sure. Um, but like Bo Nix was a guy I think that could have went to the Rams if the Broncos didn't select him at number 12. And then I look at last year's draft. I could have sworn Jackson Dart was a guy that maybe they would have been interested in or in on. But no, I think heading into this draft, and I'll talk about that at a later, like another time. Like I'm gonna go through some young quarterbacks with you guys in a little bit because young guns is another topic, right? But do they find a young gun in this draft class that they can develop behind Matthew Stafford? So that's why they're on this list. It's not so much that it's chaotic or Matthew Stafford is a bridge. I just feel like some of these teams on here have legitimate question marks and concerns. So that's why I went ahead and put him on here in this particular tier. So let's go to Arizona. And now with Arizona, they do have some questions. They do. The biggest one, the elephant in the room, is Kyler Murray. Um, After being benched towards the end of the season there, and then Jacoby Brissett. I mean, I know Murray dealt with some injuries and stuff like that, but the trade noise is loud. And they need they have a bridge quarterback already. And Jacoby Brissett there, ready to roll. But my question would be, if they move off Kyler Murray, do they draft a quarterback? So that's something that's a reason why they're on here. It'll be really interesting. Can I say this? When it comes to the Atlanta Falcons, I really like the idea of Kyler Murray being traded to the Atlanta Falcons because of the offensive talent that Kyler Murray would be surrounded around. They have Kevin Stefanski that just got hired there. He's a quarterback who operates pretty well when he does have the quarterback position right, like I talked about in previous episodes. So something for thought there. But I look at the Atlanta Falcons as another kind of chaotic bridge kind of deal. There's some question marks. Kirk Cousins, it just was put out that he could be released. They're looking at doing that. Michael Penix tore his ACL back in November, so he's trying to rehab and get back to health. So they need kind of a veteran bridge to go with Michael Penix as well. So are they fully invested though in Michael Penix? Do they believe in him even after the injury? Or are they going to look elsewhere and try to bring in a veteran, maybe like a Kyler Murray, to trade for? Who knows? I think they need to add a veteran regardless to this room, of course. Whether that's getting Kyler Murray or that's getting somebody through the draft. That's just how I feel. Another team, this is a good one. Cleveland Browns rookie room. Yes, they're very young. Well, they were rookie. They had a young. They weren't rookie, but they're young. They're a young quarterback room with Shador and Dylan Gabriel. Right? They just hired Todd Monken, who's a good coach. I think he'd be a good fit to help Shador Sanders with his development. Because of the run game that he can help implement and help Shador be successful. A quarterback's best friend is a running game. So Todd Monken, I feel like, is a good fit there. And I said I'd give a hot take. So here's my hot take. Cleveland Browns, despite having like some kind of chaos, they've been dysfunctional for quite some time at that quarterback position. Since maybe Baker Mayfield, you could say that was a huge stain on them for letting him go right after taking him to the playoffs for quite some time. But anyways, back to Shador. Like, I feel like he can be the long-term solution if you take this offseason very seriously and you support him with the right talent. So that's where I'm at with the Browns. I feel like Shador could be the answer there. I really do. That's a hot take. But I'm curious to how you guys feel about Shador. And the thing is even if Shador doesn't work out for the whole season, I mean, because I'm not really too high on this quarterback class with the prospects that are there in the NFL draft this season. But you got names like a Dante Moore who decided to go back into the college ranks. You have guys like an Arch Manning potentially that can enter the draft. You just have so many options next season, so it's not a big deal if the Browns give a full shot to Shador. What do you have to lose? I mean, next year's another chance to get a quarterback. So, but I would like to see them add another veteran in the room. Being that Deshaun Watson, isn't going to be playing or anything, I wouldn't believe. So that's how I feel about that situation. The Indianapolis Colts, man, I think they're going to bring back Daniel Jones, is what it sounds like. Shane Steichen really likes Daniel Jones. It's probably not going to be the same after that Achilles tear. Um, and then they have the whole Anthony Richardson ordeal, which has been pretty crazy, right? Like they took him number 4 overall, and I think in the 2023 draft, it hasn't worked out. He hasn't been able to sustain health and stay on the field. So, do they just cut him altogether or trade him? Will be interesting. But I feel like they do need to add some more talent to that room, whether that's Daniel Jones and another quarterback, right? I really was intrigued by the idea of Tua Tagovailoa being with Indianapolis as a potential move, and I'll talk about the Dolphins later down the line. But that was just a team that I was intriguing to me to see Tua go to. I feel like that'd be a good pairing with him and Shane Steichen. Now let's go to the Las Vegas Raiders. You gotta love the Raiders, right? Um, they are just so lucky to have the number 1 overall pick with the shot at drafting Fernando Mendoza. Exciting prospect. He's great. Like I'll talk about him more on my next segment when I talk about the young guns, but phenomenal talent. He gets the ball out quickly out of his hands. Doesn't really force turnovers. High football IQ. He's mobile enough to utilize his legs, as you saw in the big games in his run to the national championship. He's a Heisman Trophy winner. The Raiders can't mess up this pick. If I'm being honest, like you selected Fernando Mendoza, you already have some talent on that offensive side of the ball. You build the line, and you hope for success. Because I know Clint Kubiak, I think, was interviewing for the head coaching position to see if they get that situated. He'd be a good quarterback from the Mike Shanahan tree with that West Coast system he runs. So it'd be good. It'd be a good pairing, a good fit. Because I know Davis Webb took his name out of the hat to be the Raiders coach. So on to the Miami Dolphins, and this one it's really tough. Part of it is Tua Tagovailoa's contract situation. Not only his contract situation, but then you're looking at the injuries that he's suffered through already, the concussions. There's just so much that comes along with him, right? He's a talented quarterback, but it's like the rest that comes with it is just difficult. It sounds like they want to move off from him. But the thing about moving off from Tua Tagovailoa is you can't just cut him. I mean, you can, but you're gonna inflict $99 million worth of dead cap, and you'd probably have to do a post June 1st cut, which allows you to spread it over two seasons. So that's gonna be tough. They would have if they do that move. I mean, they have Quinn Ewers, who they drafted last season in the wings. Just that started the last few games, I think. But they'd have to pivot to some options, maybe like a guy like Malik Willis, who looked good in Green Bay in some situations, spot start situations. He did pretty good. You got him, and then a guy that I would look forward to with Bobby Slowick being the offensive coordinator is Mac Jones, a quarterback that's just on schedule. Gets the ball out of his hands. Is in sync with the offense, commands the offense. I think that would be a good fit, I think, in my opinion. Now, the New York Jets, they need to hit the full reset on this quarterback room. They tried, and they tried so hard, but they couldn't get the quarterback position right. That's okay because I feel like with the New York Jets, they have the Joe Namath curse, right? Like since I've been a football fan, NFL fan, I haven't seen the Jets really have a quarterback ever. Chad Pennington is probably as good as it got. Mark Sanchez, like no, like let's be real here. Butt fumble Sanchez, we ain't doing that. So I think they need to hit the full reset button. Um, and I'll talk about and the other thing too about like what are some free agent dominoes and trade dominoes that can happen, right? Like I think one name that intrigues me when it comes to the Jets is a Kirk Cousins maybe if he does. I mean, if they do end up cutting him, which it sounds like they will. Do they look towards maybe reuniting with what's his name, Geno Smith from the Raiders? Because I mean, if the Raiders have drafting Mendoza, do you feel like they would just have Geno Smith behind him? I don't know. I mean, it's going to be interesting. There's a lot of factors when it comes to these quarterback situations, but I think they really need a big overhaul. Is a Marcus Mariota going to be a starter for them? Like I don't know, but they have picks number 2 and 16, so they really maybe they're smart enough to invest maybe 16 on Ty Simpson if they feel like number 2 is too high. So that's where I'm at with that situation. There's going to be some moves to be had, right? Do they trade for a veteran, maybe like a Jacoby Brissett from Arizona or something? If Arizona gets somebody else to fill that void, if even after moving off of um, Kyler Murray, if that's the route they go, do the Jets decide, hey, I want a veteran right off the bat? Let's go in the direction of trading for Kyler Murray. Like, there's so many different moves that are going to be made this offseason. It's going to be a true quarterback carousel. But the other team on here is the New Orleans Saints. They have two very young quarterbacks. Tyler Shug actually really played well. Um, and he didn't start the whole season. So I know I have him on this list, but I just feel like there's maybe some question marks because you want to see if maybe this season was a fluke. You want to see a continuation of the success that he had this season. And you do that by helping him out, getting him pieces around him. Draft you a Jeremiah Love. Get him a dog. Get him a back. That'll help him. Make life easier on your quarterback. So and then Spencer Rattler could be another guy. So I mean, and sometimes like even just one good season, you can have that sophomore slump. That's always everybody's fear when it comes to the organizations, right? Like they kind of wonder, oh, is he gonna have a sophomore slump? Like I don't know. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. Then the New York Giants. Is Jackson Dart the true answer? Is he cemented to be the quarterback for the foreseeable future? Is he the future? We're gonna find out, but I think he needs to change the way he plays quarterback. He needs to learn how to get down and when to slide at the right times. That way he's not taking shots because he's already had so many concussions this year. So that's a point that I'm like a little worried about, right? You don't want to turn it. You don't want it to turn into a situation like Tua Tagovailoa. So that's a head scratcher for me. Here's another one: the Minnesota Vikings. Now I liked JJ McCarthy. He's very young. I think he's only going to be 22, 23, something like that. Young prospect when he got drafted into the NFL, but he's dealt with some injuries as well. He has that injury prone tag or whatever you want to call it. Um, but you need JJ McCarthy, and you probably need a veteran in there, like a stabilizer in that room. Does Kirk Cousins go over there? We'll see. We'll find out. But I think they need to pair him with a veteran. And do they maybe look at a Kyler Murray too? Like these are just the quarterback carousel is legit. It's going to be interesting to see which teams on this list don't have a quarterback because there's going to be somebody, right? There's always somebody left up against the wall at prom date, right? Just waiting for their chance. So yeah, that's how I feel with this position, with this situation. The next one I would say on here is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Uh, short-term vet. They got a quarterback. Well, here's the thing. The biggest question I think when it comes down to it, um, is Aaron Rodgers going to come back another year? Right? Like I think that's what the biggest question of the offseason for the Steelers is, because you got to make your plans around him, I guess. If I'm the owner, I'm not. I'm just saying, hey, I'm going this direction, and it's you know what I mean. But I feel like they can make a move for a veteran. Maybe Kirk Cousins ends up in Pittsburgh too. They got some offensive talent. They just traded for DK Metcalf. Does Kyler Murray make some sense over there? Does maybe some other options on the market make sense in Pittsburgh? Uh, but I don't know, man. I think, and then they have the quarterback out of Ohio State who just won the championship a year ago in the wings, waiting for a shot. So and I'm trying to blank what his name is right now, but Will Howard, that's his name. Will Howard, can he become something? Right, like I just drafted him last year. So we'll find out. These are my tier. That's my tier 3 chaos and bridges quarterbacks. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens with this list. There's going to be plenty of movement. That's what makes the offseason very fun. But I think if we're being honest, it's really nice to be a part of the crew where you don't have to really worry about it, right? Um, what was there, like 12 different teams on this list that I listed? 12, yeah, that's a lot of teams with some question marks, right? Even if they're like small questions, right? I mean, we can make a case for maybe some other ones too around the league, like who's really, really, really satisfied with the quarterback position, right? Like, I don't know. It's fun. It's always fun to play the game of like seeing who's going where throughout the offseason when it comes to the quarterback carousel. I have fun with that. That's one of my favorite things. So, what I want to do though is kind of pull up the next segment, and we're going to talk about the young guns. All right, so let's talk about some young guns in this NFL draft. Let's talk about some young guns in this NFL draft because it's very important to kind of know some guys. Like, I don't ever claim to be like a draft guru, or I'm not an NFL scout, but it's just fun to see some names that maybe are available for some of our teams. Um, that we can look at, maybe that could be intriguing, that maybe can develop into something, right? Across the with some time. You never know. Like that whole Matthew Stafford situation, are there some quarterbacks that could be intriguing to add to that can sit behind Stafford for another year, right? So I want to share that with you guys. And of course, right off the bat, let me pull this off real quick for y'all. Here we go. This is the list that I have. I have Fernando Mendoza. I think he's going number 1 overall to the. He's going number 1 overall to the Raiders. But Ty Simpson's the second best quarterback in this class. 6'2", 208, quarterback out of Alabama. Threw for 3,500 yards, 28 touchdown passes, 5 interceptions. That's a good turnover to touchdown interception ratio. Mobile pocket passer, yeah. The thing I'm going to scroll down here is the scouting report. Pre-snap, who consistently uses motion to decode coverages and adjust protection calls with veteran savvy beyond his. Okay. I like this one. Oh, it's crashing on me. Sorry. It kind of tends to do that sometimes. Another thing that I liked was release quickness beats the rush before it develops with mechanics so clean. You should teach them at quarterback camps tomorrow. You can you could teach them at quarterback camps tomorrow. Yeah, ball placement turns routine completions into yards after the catch opportunities, hitting receivers in stride so naturally that they barely break momentum, catching passes. Pocket presence combined with spatial awareness with internal clock, knowing when to climb, slide, or bail out without coaching from the sideline. Mental processing speed operates at warp drive, moving through progressions so efficiently that third options become viable before pressure arrives. Just a few things, right? Um, some weaknesses: physical tools won't blow anyone away at the combine, lacking the elite arm strength that makes scouts drool over prototypes. I mean, I don't put too much into arm talent. I look at whether my quarterback can make his progressions, go through his reads. Read differences, excuse me, and command an offense, and understand where to go with the ball, situational awareness and stuff like that. So it says he stands as one of the most fascinating quarterbacks prospects in recent memory as a 5 year starter who displayed elite command through 9 games before reality complicated the narrative. The tape doesn't lie about what he showed early. This was a quarterback executing concepts and making reads that franchise quarterbacks take years to master. If I'm Arizona or New York, I'd be intrigued by this guy as a prospect in the NFL. Definitely. Let's go to another one. Who's one that I really like that I heard some noise a lot? Garrett Nussmeier enters 2025 as a prospect whose NFL future hangs on two critical questions. Let's pull them up. I think some of them aren't really, you know, let's look at his stats. 1,927 yards, 12 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. What's this one? I think these aren't really updated if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember, but it's just nice to have these names. Garrett Nussmeier, I know in the Senior Bowl, he's done some great things. His name's been mentioned quite a bit. Pocket passer, though. Maybe he could be intriguing for a team like the Rams or somebody if he falls back, right? Second generation signal caller who's got football coursing through his veins. Garrett Nussmeier has emerged as one of college football's most electrifying quarterbacks. The son of former NFL Doug Nussmeier turned heads when he opted to return to Baton Rouge for the 2025 season, despite first round buzz. Awaiting his turn behind Heisman winner Jaden Daniels, Nussmeier seized control of the Tigers offense in 2024, throwing for over 4,000 yards and 29 touchdowns while leading LSU to a 9-4 record and Texas Bowl victory. I like this guy. Natural arm talent, shows impressive touch, creates throwing lanes under pressure. I think a lot of these guys will each refine their skills, right, to become better at the next level. But either way, he could be legitimate starter potential in the NFL. Another one that I actually want to look up to for you guys is, and I know he kind of had a rough year, but I really still have some faith in this kid, is Drew Eller. 6'5", 6'5", 235, strong arm. I like him a lot. Mobile pocket passer. Yeah, he can use his legs. Um, let's see. Elite arm talent allows him to drive the ball to all levels of the field, regardless of platform. Can generate tremendous velocity with minimal windup. Shows impressive poise under pressure, keeping his eyes downfield while navigating muddy pockets with subtle movements. Exceptional ball security and decision making reflected in record-setting interception avoidance while still attacking downfield. This guy's I like him a lot. Looking ahead to his NFL projection, all Aller profiles as a blue chip prospect who could thrive in vertical passing system that maximizes arm talent while allowing him to create outside structure. His combination of size, arm strength, and developing feel for the pocket draws favorable comparisons to Josh Allen coming out of Wyoming. A traits-based prospect whose physical tools translated immediately while the finer points caught up. Man, I like this player. I really do. I think he's a guy that would thrive behind Sean McVay and the Rams, like he would be a good player to have as a succession plan behind Matthew Stafford. So I don't know. There's some other guys. Carson Beck is one too that was with Georgia. Did well with Miami. He's another guy. Like there are some dudes out there. I'll run through the rankings real quick just for y'all to see. But yeah, I'm excited. Trinidad Chambliss is another one. Like Carson Beck's the fourth best. Cade Klubenik, I was pretty high on him going into the college season. It says he profiles as a modern NFL quarterback who's a dual threat. Capabilities of improving pocket presence will appeal to offensive coordinators. I think it says offensive. Let's see. I'm gonna click on it for y'all. Let's take a peek. Let's take a peek here. Summary. Here we go. Offensive coordinators looking to diversify their attack. Yeah. His combination of arm talent, athleticism, and demonstrated growth curves suggest a high ceiling prospect who could thrive in a system that maximizes his mobility while continuing to develop his processing speed. The ideal landing spot would be with a team running a spread based offense that incorporates design quarterback runs and moving pockets. His deep ball accuracy and improving pre-snap recognition would particularly shine in offense that emphasizes vertical concepts off play action. Hey, another guy, another quarterback that can be a steal. I think for somebody if they're looking to develop one, right, and be patient. So I don't know. I'm pretty intrigued by some of these guys. What about y'all? How do you feel? Um, and I'm very open to like you guys giving me some ideas who to check out when it comes to the draft. It's one of my favorite moments. I feel like it's a time where we can all learn together. So yeah, man, this is why I'm doing this whole pod thing is like to interact with y'all and give me some feedback too of who to look at, right, and vice versa. So, but this was a good episode. I appreciate y'all tuning in again. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It's a fun time. We're in the off season, and it's about to get busy again. Um, Free agency will be here before you know it. The draft talk is gonna be fun until we get to April, but the combine will be here in February. There's gonna be some fun things, but again, thank you guys for joining me today. This was fun. If you guys enjoy me doing things like this, let me know. And let me know again what quarterbacks around the NFL do you think will be traded? What free agents do you think? What free agent signings do you think will happen? Which team? Um, I would say which team do you think makes a bomb trade? Like it's gonna be fun, man. I don't know. I love the whole ordeal of the storylines in the off season in general. So thank you guys for joining me. Um, this is pretty chill. This is pretty chill show today, I think. But my takes have been delivered. End zone reached. I'm Dak. This is the fan zone and end zone. Thank you all so much. Tune in the next episode. Have a good one. Have a good weekend. Bye bye, y'all. Squad.